Okay, welcome again, everyone. Your host, Stano here. Welcome to today's webinar. The topic is mobile options for Microsoft Dynamics 365 field service. I see a lot of familiar names joining us, so welcome everyone. I see Daniel here, Andre, Andrew. We have Frank here. Hello, Frank. This is awesome. Jens is here. Maximilian. Wow. Rune. That's awesome. Stefan, wow, great. Torsten, hi Torsten as well. Great to see a lot of you joining me here today. This webinar is going to be pretty short and hopefully sweet as well. I even put some drawing skills to the test, and I'll try using my drawing skills to explain some of the things. So don't laugh too much. Another thing, you are all in a listen-only mode, which means I won't be able to hear you, but I'd like to encourage you to post questions using the GoToWebinar application in the questions section. I'll reserve some time towards the end of the webinar to cover them. And other than that, I think we're good to go. So enjoy. Let me know your thoughts, if they're good, if they're bad, if it makes sense or not. And obviously, those questions are more than welcome. So I got the message from my colleague Adrian. Thank you that you can see my screen and hear me as well. So I'm gonna trust him and believe that we're good to go. So why this webinar and what I'm going to talk about? So some of you, or that's my understanding, that many of you are aware that there are certain changes coming to the mobile applications for Dynamics 365 field service. Some of these changes are pretty urgent. Microsoft sent some communication to select customers about the correct use of the application. So I'll definitely address that as we understand that it raised quite a lot of questions or even confusion. And then there's a bigger picture and a plan to do some changes and prepare for those changes in a year from now, so towards June 2022. So that's the reason this webinar is happening today. So let's get into that. For those of you who are not super familiar with Resco, or maybe only came across Resco through our relationship and cooperation with Microsoft, let me tell you or explain a little bit close to that story, and I think that will help us in a long term understand what's going on, what's the history, and what is this all about. So what actually happened back almost 10 years ago in 2012, when Resco was already providing mobile capabilities for back then the Microsoft Dynamics CRM customers and partners as well, we signed a partnership with a company called Field One Systems. This was a typical ISV, a company that had quite a lot of experience and knowledge and expertise in field service, and they built their own product on top of Microsoft Dynamics CRM. And because every field service organization relies on their skilled workers who actually perform and do the jobs out in the field, there was a need to provide a robust mobile client with that. So that's why Field One Systems and Resco signed a partnership, and we started supporting Field One with the mobile technology that we were preparing and creating. The first change happened just 3 years later when Microsoft acquired Field One Systems as a whole, as a company, including the customers and especially the product, the technology. And it took Microsoft about a year until they released their first official version of the field service solution. So that was in 2016, and that included the first official version of Field Service Mobile 2016. If some of you remember that application's icon included the little person right in the center, that was the 2016 version. Then Microsoft released a new version later on in 2017 called the Field Service Mobile 2017 application, or nicknamed the Truck application. And then in 2018, a big change happened when Microsoft and Resco, we started talking seriously about the future of the mobility for field service, and we agreed on a long-term partnership with Microsoft. Microsoft. So we're officially supporting Microsoft since 2018. Microsoft created the application that is published on all of the app stores. And the application is nicknamed the Xamarin application or the Microsoft Field Service mobile application. It's that dark blue one. And that's pretty much the history. And now let's look at what we actually agreed with Microsoft in 2018, what we're supporting Microsoft with. So officially, Microsoft OEMs Resco technology specifically for Microsoft Dynamics 365 Field Service. Together with that, Microsoft has access to Resco application. So they rebranded it, they white label it, and they published it on all app stores that the application works on. That means Apple App Store, Android App Store, and Microsoft Windows App Store as well. The situation is a little bit complicated there. As I explained, there's several versions of these applications, and some customers are still using some legacy versions of the application, especially if they're stuck on some old on-premise version of Field Service, or they don't plan to go to the new versions that quickly. So the situation there might be a little bit heterogenic. So the application is definitely the key piece that Microsoft gets from Resco, and all customers can use it. The second part is Mobile Project. Mobile Project, think of it as the collection of all the know-how, all the functionality, all the features that Microsoft built, all that related to Field Service, and they built it into the Mobile Project, the default Microsoft Field Service project that all Microsoft Dynamics Field Service customers have access to. And the third part that Microsoft customers get through the deal that we have with Microsoft is the Woodford tool. Even though Field Service is relatively standardized software and solution, every customer is a little different. All the use cases and mobile scenarios differ and vary a little bit. Companies have different processes. So having access to a tool that Resco names the Woodford tool for good reasons, for those of you who are familiar, really serves the purpose of customizing and configuring and editing and changing and modifying the mobile project and eventually the mobile application as well. So that's what all the Field Service customers can use. And now let's have a quick look into the future. So we have two kind of paths going side by side. At the top of the screen, you see the road plan for the Field Service Mobile or the Xamarin application, which is the Resco-based application. And at the bottom of the screen, you can see the yellow application or the new Field Service Dynamics 365 application, which is Power App based. So until mid last year, it was the preferred solution, the one from Resco, the Xamarin application, all the way until earlier this year. It's the default application for all the Microsoft Dynamics Field Service customers. As of now, most of the customers that are already using the Xamarin application are fully supported, are fully covered, and most of them we're trying to talk to or collect some feedback, and we hear that lots of them are very happy and satisfied customer because the solution works. However, Microsoft announced last year that there's a plan to end the support for the Xamarin application, and that end date has been established as June 2022. So by this time of next year, Microsoft plans to end the support for this application. At the same time, Microsoft released mid last year the Power App or the yellow application. In the very beginning of that journey, it was suitable for some of the basic Field Service scenarios, and gradually Microsoft is adding some functionality and features, trying to bring that yellow application on par with the blue application. So as of earlier this year, it's the default application for new customers, and they're very encouraged by Microsoft to start using it. in June 2022, so at about this time next year, it will be a default for all customers. So all customers should plan to switch to the yellow application. So hopefully this is clear. If not, let me know in the questions what your thoughts are about that, and if you believe that the yellow application is on par with the blue Xamarin application, or what the reactions are from some pilots, from some tests, etc. if you dived into that. The situation got a little bit more complicated for a select customers last month when Microsoft announced that all the users who are using some other application than the Xamarin or the yellow application should move to one of the official supported ones by June 2021. So this actual month. So we have about 2 more weeks in June 2021. And we understand that created a lot of question marks, a lot of concerns, and it's not super clear what customers should actually do. So here, this is the time where my drawing skills are coming to the table. So I prepared a little diagram that will help to explain what actually is going on. So let's start with the old good Dynamics 365 field service, the server functionality with all the good stuff, with all the expertise and all the knowledge that Microsoft is putting into. And this is just my attempt to recreate some of the typical screens of Dynamics field service with the accounts and incidents and times off and scheduling board and work orders, etc. on the left side ribbon. For the simplicity, let's just call it Dynamics 365 field service. And what we actually found out, or what Microsoft actually found out, is that a lot of customers are using not the official version of the applications, but a lot of the customers actually use the Resco Mobile CRM application with their field service. So this icon should be familiar. So they're using Resco Mobile CRM application for many times very good reasons. I remember the times about 2-3 years ago when Microsoft's version of the Xamarin application was lagging behind the then current version of Resco. There were gaps in functionality. I remember one particular area, such as the multi-factor authentication functionality, that actually pushed a lot of customers to start using the Resco Mobile CRM application with their field service environment. And over the years, they probably found it as a viable option. Nobody was putting any limitations there, and everything was working pretty fine. What Microsoft is asking customers now is to use one of the 2 official field service applications. So it can be the one on the left-hand side, the Xamarin application, or the yellow application, the Power App based application, as the 2 default field service mobile apps. So if you're a customer using Resco Mobile CRM, Microsoft is asking you no more Resco as of June this year. So in less than 2 weeks, please switch to either the Xamarin application or the yellow Power App. And hopefully that's a little bit clearer now. If not, again, let me know. We actually found out after a few customers got back to us that switching that quickly in a few weeks to one of these default applications, field service apps, is not trivial. And switching to the future preferred application, the yellow app, is actually not an easy task. We work with a number of partners that are doing some analysis about what it would take and how it would go about switching to the Power App application, and even some not super complicated customizations and configurations. Seems like it would take months and months of work and quite big budgets to do so. So we thought this is time for Resco to step up and maybe provide some better option. And let me talk very briefly about the third option that we believe might be a good one for a lot of customers who have invested into the Xamarin or Resco version of the solution, have done a lot of customizations, and would like to continue with that path. So we created a program that we called Resco Field Service 2.0 to really differentiate it a little bit from the many different mobile applications. We just call it Field Service 2.0. It's based on the same Resco mobile application, the mobile CRM app that a lot of customers use. The difference is that we created a special mobile project. So the mobile project that we created is taking the field service mobile project by Microsoft as a base, and we enriched it with a lot of functionality. We created a new UI and design to create a better looking, modern looking, and more appealing type of application, and also created a lot of added value. So if you compare the two, the Power App on the left-hand side, it comes with some functionality, out-of-the-box features that come with Power App, with the field service. On the other side, we have the Xamarin application, the Resco one, which is the default one as of now, but the support for is ending next year. It really brings all the best that Resco learned about mobility to all field service customers. But we're thinking, let's change that a little bit and provide that Resco Field Service 2.0 program to base it on all the best from the Resco kitchen. So it's the default Resco Mobile CRM application with a lot of extra value and an extra functionality that the customers can benefit from. So what is that extra functionality? What are the kind of key ideas behind Field Service 2.0? First of all, it's mobile first. With Resco technology, it was always about mobility as the primary area and environment where the consumption of the solution happens. We really focus on people whose office is the field, who travel on a daily basis, who don't carry a laptop or stack of papers or some additional devices to as a backup. They only rely on their one mobile device where they live their days, day in, day out, and they have to be able to do everything there. But we understand that mobility is part of it, and that's kind of expected from a company such as Resco. So we're adding two additional functional blocks that we blend nicely into the mobile application based on the Field Service 2.0 project, and that is Resco Inspections, so our own approach to dynamic forms and the ability to collect data on the go very quickly. This is a product that has been launched by Resco more than 3 years ago. It's used as a standalone solution by many customers around the world. So I believe it's fair to say this is a market-proven technology that is nicely blended with the Field Service 2.0 mobile project. And the third part is Resco Routes, because naturally a lot of field service users, the technicians, inspectors, etc., they travel on a regular basis. We're adding that functionality of routes, the ability to navigate, to plan their days, and actually to also see where the users are, how much time they're spending traveling versus in different locations, etc., through the functionality of routes called Location Monitor. So we put all of that together, mobile first with a strong focus on offline capabilities and that unique experience on small screens, inspections as a functionality to create new types of forms for quick data collection or instruction type of experience, and routes for those organizations who spend a lot of time on the roads. If you're interested in finding more about this, how this actually work, what it would take to switch from the Xamarin application to Resco Field Service 2.0? What are the steps? Is it a lot of activities needed? Is it something that's going to take us months or weeks? We actually prepared a transition guide that explains all the key milestones, all the key steps. It will be available later this week, so it's literally coming out of the kitchen as of now, and will help you, or we hope that will help you answer some of these key questions. Apart from that, we have an internal team that is dedicated to companies who decide they want to switch to full Resco to continue their mobile journey with the Resco technology in the future. These are mostly engineers and consultants who have combined great knowledge about Microsoft Dynamics 365 Field Service and Resco, and can be used as a resource on your bench when you decide to switch. So hopefully that will help as well. And with that, I'd like to open it up for questions to actually see if what I talked about makes any sense. So we have so far a couple questions, and this one from Georg, I totally expected, and it's a great one. So the question from Georg is, what will happen if I log into old Resco app on July 1st? And the second question is there a difference if we use CRM on-premise? So let's start with the latter one. If you use Microsoft Dynamics on-premise, there's no difference with Resco. Over the years that we've been providing the mobile capabilities to Microsoft Dynamics CRM customers, we've seen all the different kind of setups and configurations of Dynamics CRM. On-premise was definitely one of them. Partner hosted, online. We even worked with customers that we had to enable the licensing for offline capabilities. So what I'm trying to say, if you're on-prem, we know you have limited capabilities when it comes to Power Apps or the new mobile experiences provided by Microsoft. Great news is these are not with Resco. This doesn't apply for Resco. So we can definitely support you. And the first question, what will happen if you log into the old Resco application after June, so after this month is over? So everybody is encouraged to reach out to either Resco directly or Microsoft. We're in discussion with Microsoft to make sure that there are no hard stops. There are some customers that I know of that are trying to negotiate some longer times with Microsoft to allow for the switch. That's probably one of the good options as well. But I encourage you to start talking to us. We have a lot of qualified and trained people on the Resco team that can help you to make sure that your operation is not harmed or stopped after July 1st. I know it's not a great answer, but that's the best I have at this point. Question from Frank. What are the other applications? Frank, I believe this must be something related to what I was presenting, so I'm kind of missing the context right now. But let's take it offline, or maybe if you can elaborate on that question a little bit. We have another one from Lucas. Is the Field Service 2.0 a complete separate app installation for the clients? Great question, Lucas. And I realized that our Field Service 2.0 is perhaps a little bit misleading or confusing. So it's not a separate application. It's still the same mobile CRM application by Resco that you can find on all the app stores. What's different is the application project or the mobile project. So that's where we actually built in the extra functionality around inspections, around routes, where we incorporated the new design and new UI of the application. So the application is the same. It's still the Resco Mobile CRM app, but the application project is different, and that's where the quote-unquote magic happens. Okay, thanks, Frank, for clearing that out. That the question was already answered. Do we have any other questions or feedback? Okay, there's another question. Which Resco licensing model is necessary to use the Field Service 2.0 project with? So this is good news, and I want to make sure that this is heard and it's loud and clear. We understand that for a lot of customers, this is a situation that they probably didn't expect to happen and definitely didn't wish for. Right? We understand that you invested into the Xamarin version of the application. You did a lot of customization, etc. in the Woodford tool. You brought a lot of changes and configuration, and now you're facing a hard decision. What should we do? Should we restart and just throw all that money and time and effort and energy off the table, or should we try to find a way to reuse it and keep working with it? So we understand the situation, or at least I hope we understand it well. So that's why we came with a special pricing. So we're offering all the functionality that is covered by the Resco's highest license, which is called Resco Ultimate. You can find the details about the difference between the licenses on our website, the section pricing. So we're bringing all the functionality of the Ultimate license, and what we actually did, we packaged it into a lower license to make it financially easier and make sure that the customers don't see it as a super big extra investment that they have to make. So what customers are getting in form of the Ultimate license, which is priced at $50 per user per month, we're putting for the price of the Professional license, which is half of that, so $25 per user per month, which I personally believe is a great value. And of course, if you have large user base, customer base, please talk to us. We want to make sure that you see this as a viable option. Oh, lots of great questions coming in. Can I use my old Woodford project with the new Resco 2.0 app? Yes, Georg, definitely. The app is the same. So it's the same Resco Mobile CRM application. No problems there. Is there a statement from Microsoft that Resco Field Service 2.0 is not against the use rights of field service? We're working on something official, but I have to tell you, hopefully it's not saying something that is secret or anything. We have an open communication channel with Microsoft, and Microsoft is expecting that there will be customers who will not be willing to get away from the Xamarin application, but would prefer to stay with the Resco solution. We have a lot of questions regarding whether there's a separate app. So hopefully I explained that by now, that it's the same Resco Mobile CRM application. It's just the mobile project is different. Yeah. Remark from Maxim: what happens after July 1st? So you'll be more and more encouraged by Microsoft to make the switch, and we'll see how that's gonna look like, that encouragement. But Maxim, if you have particular deadlines in mind or kind of lots of questions, please get back to me or some of the Resco staff that you might be in touch with already, and we can discuss it on a personal level to make sure that we understand what you're going through, what your plans are, etc. More questions here, and we're slowly running out of time. From Fred Ellen: as we already use Resco Mobile with Field Service Woodford Project plus Resco Inspections, what would happen to us? Will it work directly? Yes, so Fred Ellen, this was something that we discussed with Microsoft. We actually found out that there are customers who already use Resco Inspections. So we are in agreement that this will be fully supported and will work definitely with Field Service 2.0. please get back to us at Resco. We want to make sure that this is processed correctly on the administration side of the things, and then that we take care of it in relation to Microsoft. But you're totally fine and should and covered. This is a great question from Stephen Toth. Currently, each of our field users have a license for Resco and Dynamics 365. Do you know of a solution where we would only need a Resco license for field users? So this is a great one. It definitely creates a lot of ideas in my head. The problem is that if you use Microsoft Dynamics 365, especially field service, then your users, if using work order functionality and entity, you need to have a Dynamics 365 license. I talked about this number of times with my old good friend Ben Vollmer, who actually is not with Microsoft anymore, by the way. But we had these debates number of times because we see that there's a lot of users who are, for example, contractors or subcontractors or seasonal workers, and they don't really, the companies can't really afford to buy a full field service license for them. So the answer, if they use the core functionality from Dynamics 365, I don't think there's an easy solution for that. But if that's something that they don't need the core functionality from field service, we can definitely talk. We have customers who use Resco as a standalone solution or as a solution where that comes with the Resco cloud, so a server component, and then they only synchronize some key records, key tables between Resco cloud and their other solution. So everybody, thank you so much for your questions. I don't see any new ones here. If I missed something, I'll be in touch by email by the end of the week. Thanks for attending the webinar. Thanks for supporting Resco. And I wish you a nice rest of the day, and let's stay tuned. Let me know if you have additional questions. We really want to make sure that we can help every customer to stay and use the great solution that we've been investing into over the years and that we believe provides the best functionality for field users. So thank you again. Have a great day and look forward to connecting sometimes in the future.